I'm going to show you that this is one of the most important things for a good, consistent golf swing. The wrist in relation to the club face at the top of the swing. Why does this matter so much? It's a point in time. It's not based on the movement. And a lot of things have to happen from all the way up here to come all the way back down. But in golf, we want as few manipulation, variables, especially when it comes to the downswing, because it happens so very quickly. I mean, there's just not much time from the top of the swing all the way to the bottom, even with a nice smooth tempo. You may not believe me, but your hand and eye coordination is actually very good. You might not think so, but it is astoundingly quick. And you subconsciously know where your club face is, where your hands are. And if you sort of realize that maybe your club face is too much open, even if you haven't seen it on video, you'll know it, you'll feel it, and what will happen is you'll try and square that up very, very late at the last second, okay? Sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. That's why sometimes you'll slice it right. The other option, which is what I do, I get a little bit too shut at the top here. And you think, well, what's the problem with that? Victor Hovland, Dustin Johnson, John Rahm. I could repeat loads and loads of players. They're all a little bit more shut. They have this wrist bowed in comparison with the club face, and they deliver it with a lot of power. That's probably my natural tendency, but I'm not an athlete like those guys. I cannot, from the top of the swing, from here, rotate, 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 hard, 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 to be able to square that club face up. So we want to keep those manipulations, those variables down to a minimum, right? And that's where wrist conditions come in, because there's less changes in that split second. We want more neutrality. So what we look for when it comes to a backswing, the goal of it is to make the downswing and impact delivery more efficient. That's all it is, and to give us a bit of momentum. All you do, stick a T-peg in a glove like so. And without thinking too much, I just want you to make a backswing. And I want you to notice where this T-peg is pointing. Is it pointing towards me or towards you? Is it pointing up to the sky? Or is it pretty neutral in comparison to my forearm? That's one checkpoint. This is important because this is all we're holding the club with. I mean, the right hand as well, but this controls this, and that's what it's all about. If I'm too flex and this T-peg's up to the sky, this is shut. So I'm either going to swing way over the top to try and square it up, or I'm going to drop my shoulders and those hands get high this way. If it's too cupped, that club face is too open, I'm generally going to get a little bit too steep, trying to kind of square it back up as well. It's hard work. So we want to find a way that gives us feedback as we make our swing of when to make the alteration to square, to keep that club face a little bit more neutral. And so we don't have to make as many changes on the way down. We can keep it a little bit more passive, which is more repeatable. The first task I want you to do is take a 6 or 7 iron and just do some half swings, okay? We're just going to go to about the halfway position here, and I want you to try and observe where your glove is pointing, where that T-peg is pointing. And as we swing down, where is it pointing? At impact. Is it pointing at the target, or is it pointing over here? And likewise, where is it pointing through? Having a bit of awareness, even on little shots like this, can really help understand your own golf swing a little bit, because a lot of this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you coach yourselves. So you don't need to keep watching YouTube video after YouTube video trying to figure it out. We've all got tendencies, and the sooner you learn your tendencies, the better you're going to be. So once you create a bit of awareness here, you can start trying to feel, what does it feel like to be a little bit more neutral on the way back and on the way down, okay, to get straighter golf shots that require less manipulation. The tee in the glove is one way of doing it, but the best way I know how is this. What I have here is the Hack Motion Wrist Analyzer. And what it does, it reads the measurements of when we start at address, all the way up to the backswing, and all the way onto the downswing. I mean, that's just a very small part of what it does, but it's really going to help teach us and really help you teach yourself to calibrate a golf swing, to understand what does that feel like. I'm actually feeling like the thumb is underneath the shaft a little bit rather than this way. So that's the kind of feel that I want. So now if I do a swing, and if I kind of exaggerate it, where are we here? I'm in range. But quite bizarrely, that really did feel like I was like this, but I wasn't. I was pretty much square. And the same thing happens if I was too open, okay? So if I was using my wrist too much, right? If I was using my wrist too much and getting too open that way, it would show me that I'm still in the wrong place. So I give myself some feedback, because from a good neutral position at the top, it's so much easier to deliver back down with power. Like everyone talks about getting more power. It's so much harder when you're in a wrist position where you have to manipulate it in that split second. If we have neutral, we can then move the body, move the arms down and through without even thinking about the wrists. The wrists are just going to get pulled along for the ride. Got that a little bit thin, but I was still within range, and that's the real beauty of this. The HackMotion visual and audio really helps train and calibrate your own golf swing. And it's comparing you to tour pros, yes, that data, but it's also your own data, depending on where you start with your grip and what kind of tendencies you have. So yes, we're thinking about the top of the backswing here, but you might find your own ways to get a more neutral club face. Let's say you might know that you have a tendency to be way too open with the club face, okay? And as you're coming down, that club face is way open here. If you have a swing that's more like this, right? A change is going to be a lot more dramatic than you think. And most people don't exaggerate changes enough. But having a swing now where you feel like you're getting more neutral and squaring up that club face, okay? Feeling like I'm actually turning those wrists over to deliver it more neutral, is going to be much easier when I'm on a more neutral position at the top. That's why we're talking up here, because there's less needed. If I'm really cupped, I've really got to work hard to get it back down, vice versa. So keep rehearsing some swings where we are neutral. Get better at neutral, okay? And you will hit straighter shots with less effort, with more consistency. And it applies to pitches, chips, drives, all of that good stuff. The HackMotion is really fantastic, and it's been a game changer for me and also my lessons and several students that have been using it, because it helps you teach yourself. And that's why I love it the most. And that top of the backswing impact area is just one minor thing that it helps with. But aside from the HackMotion, using the tee to give some feedback and some awareness of what your wrists are doing at the top, it might seem irrelevant, but it makes everything so much easier for the most important thing, which is pre-delivery. Getting us neutral here, so then we can turn on the power. Even if you're old, even if you've got a very slow swing, we still want neutral, okay? Just to be able to chip it forward, to get those strikes, to get that consistency. That's it, my friends. Check out the HackMotion below if you want, and ask me any questions about what it can do or what else you can do to get a more neutral top of the backswing. Now, if you want to use the wrist really well and get more power and really square up that club face, you need to check out this lesson, because it's going to help you get that extra little whip through without sacrificing accuracy. I'll see you next time.